Hi, I'm Lisa with Blue Water Baltimore, a nonprofit focused on protecting and restoring Baltimore's waterways and the communities that drain into them. And today I'll be giving a brief overview of how to stencil a storm drain. Storm drain stenciling is a fun, colorful, and hands-on way to remind residents about the importance of keeping our streets and our streams clean. When it rains in Baltimore, rain rushes down our streets carrying loose trash and pollutants into storm drains and directly into our streams, harbor, and the Chesapeake Bay. By painting storm drains, we are reminding residents that our storm drains are the mouths to our waterways. So let's get started. This video is supplemental to our in-person trainings rather than a standalone tutorial. So by this point in the process, we have already decided between murals and stencils, reached out to the community, scouted our drains, received city or county approval through an online application, and recruited our stenciling team. So before we get started, I want to talk a little bit about safety. So safety is a huge priority when stenciling storm drains because of their proximity to the road. In order to safely stencil storm drains, please plan your project for low traffic times. Designate a lookout in your group to watch the road for cars and oncoming pedestrians. Wear the reflective safety vests included in your stenciling toolkit. Use optional traffic cones, and always make sure that you're standing on the sidewalk when stenciling storm drains. So the first step is to prepare our drain. To do this, we are going to clean the storm drain by removing any trash or debris from the storm drain using gloves and a trash bag. Then we are going to want to thoroughly scrub the entire pavement where we want to paint with a wire bristle brush to remove any dust from the surface. This is an extremely important step if you want your stencil to last, because when you paint, you want to make sure that the paint is adhering to the pavement rather than the layer of dust on top of the pavement. So you'll know if you're doing it right if you feel a burn in your arm muscles, and you keep scrubbing until you see this dust stop billowing from the top of the storm drain. So once you've loosened the dust with this wire bristle brush, you're going to want to go over top and wipe all of the dust away with a soft bristle brush, making sure that the surface is completely clean. Next, you want to select a design from the pre-approved stencils included in the stenciling toolkit. There are both text, slogans, and images of bay wildlife that you can choose from. Next, you want to lay out your stencil and securely tape it down so that it doesn't move around while you're painting. Make sure that it's even. Once your stencil is secured with tape and straight across the drain, you want to make sure to cover the surrounding area with overspray materials so that the paint only gets inside the stencil where you want the paint to be. Overspray materials can be anything from lawn waste, yard waste bags, to old pieces of cardboard, anything that's going to block out the paint and keep it from getting on the surrounding pavement. When you do this, you want to make a very tight seal with the overspray material so that none of the paint can get underneath of it. You can also use the overspray materials to press down and make sure that the stencil is lying flat, because the flatter the stencil, the more crisp and clean the lines are going to be. So when you paint, it's all about the sweep. You want to keep your arm constantly moving because you can always add more, but you can't take away the paint once it's on the drain, all right? So I'm going to keep my arm constantly moving about 4 to 8 inches away from the storm drain. And again, I can always get closer, but I can never take it away. keeping my arm constantly moving. Getting a nice even layer of paint on the storm drain. All right. Again, looking over to make sure that I didn't miss any spots. Now another thing I want to avoid is getting too close, because if you start too close, the paint is going to start bleeding underneath the stencil and it's going to blob. And once you have a blob on the street, again, you can't take it away. All right, looks good. Now when you do the text on a stencil, you want to keep the text a solid color, because that's the message, that's what you want people to be able to read. And if you do any fades or marbles or tie-dyes with the colors, it makes it very difficult for people walking by to read. So we're going to keep the text a solid color. Now when you remove a stencil, you want to remove it moving from one side to the other so it doesn't wiggle around in the middle. Nice. All right. Again, pulling up one side to the other. And there we have it. Now some general stenciling best practices. Don't add too much paint. You can always add more, but you can't take it away. Keep the design clean and simple and limit text to solid colors. If you are leading a project in your community, make sure to train your team in the whys and hows of stenciling. Start with an introduction on stormwater runoff and then do a demonstration drain all together before breaking up into smaller groups. Stenciling works best with groups of about 3 to 6 people around the drain so that everyone has a job. And make sure there is a trained adult in every group. For more information, check out our website at bluewaterbaltimore.org or read our Storm Drain Art Manual. Thanks for working to protect Baltimore streets and streams. Bye.